Welcome back, everybody, to another video. So today I want to break down the trade that I ended up making roughly a little bit under $40,000 on today, which it was a pretty good trading day. You know what, I did cut the position a little bit early, but that's okay. We're not always going to get these big home run trades. We're just going to look for the bread and butters on a daily basis. Like one of the things that we were discussing in the live trading room today, or not we were discussing, but that I was basically saying in the live trading room today is like, yeah, sure. A lot of the other guys inside of the live room that did actually catch like a big portion of this move and really were able to squeeze like a pretty decent size or multiple off of this move is like for me personally, I don't really focus on those home run trades because what's going to happen is once you do get a home run trade like that, you're going to expect a big home run trade out of the markets every single time. And what's going to happen is you're going to start making emotional mistakes. You're going to start holding your trades for too long. You're going to start not being able to secure profits because you're going to start getting super greedy, wanting more and more out of the market. So for me, like when it came to like those home run trades, it was just really to break those bad habits inside of the markets. And that's what was tough for me and for maybe you guys as well that may be experiencing with that type of struggle. So I always just try and find my good risk to reward opportunities when it comes to the markets every single day. If I could squeeze out a 2 to 3 R multiple on a daily basis, that is all I need. I'm going to risk 10 grand to try and make 20 or 30 grand. I'm just going to consistently do that every single day. That's all I'm going to be looking to do. Nothing more, nothing less. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. And what you're going to find is you're going to be a lot more profitable that way than just continuing to search for these home run trades and get that shot of dopamine that you're going to be looking for every single time you come onto the markets. So today I was actually trading the NASDAQ. So I ended up taking longs on NAS 100, which played out very, very well. Now, when it comes to like price action and price action fluctuating, you have to be able to interpret all of these different time frames. This is why time frame correlation is so important. I was looking to go long on the NASDAQ because initially price action yesterday had given us a big rejection and a big move to the downside, which we did actually end up catching these shorts on a break of the low setup here on NAS from 15, call it 17,600 all the way down into the 17,543s, which again, I cut my position at a 2 to 1. Some of the guys caught a way larger move. And for me, again, it's all about the 2 to 1s. Now, this is a major area of resistance. There is clearly a lot of selling pressure in this area, but what I want you guys to realize is you need to take a look at this market structure here. What is price action telling you? Price action is forming higher lows. Not only is price action forming higher lows, but price action is also forming highs as well, which is an ascending wedge pattern. Typically within an ascending wedge pattern, we're going to see price break out to the upside, which you have in an upsending wedge. In an ascending wedge, you typically have a low followed by a higher low followed by a higher low, and then you have a high and a high and a high, which in this situation here we have a higher low, we have a high, we have a high, we have a high and then a higher low again. Now, not only considering the ascending wedge, we had a big breakout to the downside, which price action pulled all the way back up very quickly. This is a pretty telltale sign for me that we could potentially see price action break through this area. I've seen this happen so many times in the markets before. Again, look at the big reaction that we had out of price action initially when we did reject this area. Price pulled all the way back up and then pulled back down and then pulled all the way back up again. So there's clearly a struggle for sellers to actually continue to hold this range. So initially on the day, I was actually looking to go long because price action was trading above on the hour time frame, which gave me a sign, you know what, okay, we could possibly look to actually long this. Now, as price action started to give us new data and price action closed under, it's like, okay, wait, let's take a second. We could possibly see a sell-off here. Let's see what the lower time frames are looking like. Well, the 30-minute time frame gave us a rejection towards the downside. Then the 15-minute time frame actually printed an engulfing, but on the 5-minute time frame, we're holding this support. So not only is price action holding this support here on the 5-minute time frame, we have a rejection here to the downside on the 30-minute time frame, which is not something that I want to see when I'm looking to go short, which is why I threw shorts away. So my initial game plan after price action gave us this data here, we have support down here at 17,646, and then we also have resistance and these highs over here at 17,697. So I knew initially that price action formed this lower high point here, where if price action were to break this lower high point, we could come up into this high over here. And of course, if price action does come up into this high, there's a greater chance we're just going to blow through and we're going to keep trading higher. Because again, once price action breaks a lower high point, it has now made a higher high, and we can continue to expect higher highs on the day, or at least in the short term. So for me, my game plan initially, and what we were discussing in the war room is, okay, well, if we see price action take out this support range and we see price action create lower lows, then we could potentially see price action come back down into 17,594, which is going to be our take profit on the shorts, which price action never broke through these lows and price action rejected resistance or rejected support. Now, when it came to resistance, it's like, okay, well, if price action takes out these resistance range, I'll look out for a break at the high setup and just look to target a 2-to-1, a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio, which as price action took out this resistance range, we had the rejections to the downside on the 30-minute time frame. And some of you guys may be asking yourselves, like, Raul, like, there's a bearish candlestick off of resistance. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, there is a bearish candlestick off of resistance, but look at the weakness you see towards the downside. Price failed to actually close under these lows. Not only did price fail to close under these lows, on the 3-minute time frame, price failed to actually break support, and we're still trading above the VWAP at this point in time. So not only do we have the ascending wedge and the higher time frame confirmations that we could potentially see price go bullish, we have the rejection of support, and then we have price break structure here. So once this 3-minute candlestick actually closed and closed above, I let everybody in the war room basically know, like, hey, you guys can start taking entries here. It is going to be risky because we didn't break the highs just yet, but you guys can start taking entries here, which is where I placed my first entry. My first entry was right when this candlestick closed with my stop loss slightly under this candlestick low. Now, initially, like I said previously, like, this is my first entry. Now, when price action came all the way up and started to take out this high, which it kind of looks a little bit different on my MetaTrader here, but when price action started to take out this high all the way at 17,697, that is actually when I executed my second position, and I moved my stop loss up slightly just above or slightly under this resistance range that we have here, well, anticipating it to be newfound support. So this is where my second entry was with the same stop loss over here. So on my first position, and I ended up securing my profits roughly around this candlestick over here. So my first position, as you guys can see, I made roughly a 3R multiple, almost a 4R multiple, a 3.7R multiple. And on my second position, I ended up making roughly a little bit more than a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. We made roughly a 1.6R multiple, which is okay. My first position was a smaller position size, and my second position was a little bit larger than my second position size. So, than my first position size, my apologies. And again, like, when you're trading at these all-time highs, I'm not looking to be greedy. I'm not trying to catch like the biggest move. I'm not looking for a home run. Again, like, my risk to reward ratio was more than satisfied with just my first position alone. So I secured the entire trade there, and I ended up capitalizing off of a basically a 4R multiple, 3.7 on one trade and then a 1.6 on the other trade, which was absolutely fantastic. So it worked out just great. We had a higher confirmation on this second entry here, which is why I went a little bit heavier after price started to come up into like the 700s. And I added and I scaled in onto this trade here. But overall, the trade was great. The patience was great. The discipline was great. No trades were taken before here because, again, we just want to wait for our setups. All we have to do is just plan our trades every single day through an if-then thought process. If price action takes out this resistance range, I'll look to go long. If price action takes out this support range, I'll look to go short. In just kind of like in theory. Now, again, it's a little bit more in depth than that. It's kind of like, okay, well, what are the higher time frames doing? What are the lower time frames doing? Okay, well, you know what? If price action does this, then I'll look to take longs up into this level. If price action does this, then I'll look to take shorts down into this level. So just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a breakdown, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will talk to you guys in the next one.